Hello students! A quick introduction to week 10. This week we really get back to some of the normal schedule, so we're done with some breaks and some exams, so we're really going to be diving into the Stanovich book again. So we're going to read both chapter 2 and chapter 3 this week. We have a discussion board on the content covered in chapter 2, so we're going to talk a lot about theories. For this, the main thing that I'd like you to do is look up a theory that you're interested in. So for this discussion board, it's all described in here, but basically if you've heard a theory in social psych class, developmental psych class, one example that we've talked about a couple times in this class is Bronfenbrenner's bioecological systems theory. So think about a theory that you've heard mentioned before, hopefully something newer rather than like Freud or something like that. But look it up in some reputable website. So something like from a school, like a .edu website. Sometimes Wikipedia might actually be a really good place for this, just to get a kind of basic idea of what this theory is trying to do, and use that for your discussion board. So that's what the Stanovich chapter 2 is really about, is theory, falsifying theory, paradigm shifts, things like that. Chapter 3, on the other hand, is more about what is happening for measuring things, so reliability, validity, things like that. So you've got 2 lectures this week. They're both just about an hour, so it's a little bit longer. I do have a couple lectures both this week and the next week, so that on the week of your lit review you have a little bit less lecture, so you have a little bit more time to write your entire lit review. With that being said, you do have a step towards that assignment, which is your literature review outline. I believe I opened that. So your lit review outline here is basically an outline that you're making of your entire paper. So you've got, hopefully at this point, all of your references that you're going to be using for your lit review. You've only been required to read 1 at this point, but if you've read more, that's great. You should start doing that, because next week you've got an annotated bibliography where you will have read all of them. But at this point, start to outline what you think you're going to put in your paper. So what should be in the introduction? This document kind of gives you some guidelines. And what are the themes that you want to discuss? What are the main topics? What is some evidence for those main topics? So what is maybe a paper? So in your outline you could say, this is what I want to talk about about this theme, and here's 3 references that I know talk about it, even if you haven't read those references yet. So those are some of the biggest assignments this week, are the lectures, obviously the outline, and this outline is really important so that you can get some feedback on that outline before you actually start writing your literature review. So, or you can start writing your literature review based on that outline, as well as incorporating feedback that you get into it. So have a good week. It's really back to a normal week of assignments, discussion boards, readings, lecture videos, and things like that, after a couple weeks where it's been a little strange because of holidays and exams. So have a great week.